Everybody, it's Maddie Loftin!
Okay, so does everyone know what the Tostitos logo looks like? It's like two people holding this orange triangle thing, and does anyone have a picture of this that I could use really quick, just on hand? Oh, awesome. Okay. So I can't believe you just had that. That's incredible. This is the Tostitos logo. And I was at this Game Watch this past Saturday, and we had snacks chips and guac and salsa and things, and I just was looking at this jar of queso, and I was just yo, what the fuck is up with the Tostitos child? And my friends were what the hell are you talking about? It's the Tostitos child. He's like this guy. And I was he's poorly designed or whatever. His face is red. Maybe it's a multicultural family. I don't know. He's got no arms, but that's okay too. Look, he's got a party hat. That's so great. There's nothing wrong with the Tostitos child. I love the Tostitos child. I would die for the Tostitos child. And everyone's just kind of looking at me the entire time I'm describing this, and they're like, Maddie, that's most definitely two people dipping a chip into salsa. And this is one of those moments that completely changes your life. I'm looking at this and I'm guys, that's a bowl of salsa. That's not a misshapen child's head. Wow. But at this point, I've embarrassed myself too much to backtrack. So I hear myself say the words, no. It's a child. and at this point, they know it's salsa. I know it's salsa. They know I know it's salsa. But I cannot let them have this. I would rather go the rest of my life never eating another jar of queso than admitting to the non-existence of the Tostitos child. I am at this point considering naming my firstborn child Tito. And so when people can ask me what that's short for, I can look them right in the eyes and say, Tostito. And so this is very privileged information, right? Because I've been arguing about this with them for a week. And they know I know, but they don't really know I know. It's always going to be at the back of their minds. Does she really think that this Incredibles eye looking motherfucker is a child? Anyway, this has been a really weird ad for Tostitos. Tostitos, share something good. So, did you guys ever have a moment in your childhood that completely defined the rest of your life? Obviously your childhood affects your adulthood because that's how things work. But I'm talking about a really tiny moment. I'll give an example. Okay, so did you guys ever read the book Hatchet by Gary Paulson in middle school? We all had to read it, right? In 7th grade. And it's about this kid, those of you who don't know, it's about this kid who just gets in a plane crash and he crashes in the woods in the middle of Canada. And has to survive with nothing but this hatching's fucking 10-year-old who can be an adult better than I can. And this entire book is about rubbing your face in that fact. And he doesn't even axe. He has this tiny little mallet thing, and he survives, right? Spoiler alert. But there's this one towards the end, and like things are looking really good for Brian. Like he's found this like little signal thing. He's like, signal people to come save him. He's like, I'm gonna make this can of beans I found in like this airplane. And like, it makes sense if you read the book. But like, he was like, I'm gonna go like take a bath in this here lake to like prepare myself to re-enter society. And so he's like bathed in the lake, having a good time, feeling good about life. And then, I shit you not, out of nowhere, this moose just comes running out of the woods and just pummels Brian into the bottom of the lake. And he comes out of nowhere, and like, he just like pummels Brian for like pages. It's excessive. And then he just like gets bored and walks away and goes to drink some lake water. And like, here's the thing about that scene. I have not read Hatchet since 7th grade. There is, to the best of my knowledge, no movie version of Hatchet. Like, I haven't seen it. And no one has talked about that scene to me since I turned in my book report. But I have thought about that scene every damn day of my life for 8 years. I am terrified of going to Canada, because I'm convinced, like, I'll be in Toronto and, like, this fucking moose will just come out of nowhere and kill me. I'll be in the shower and my brain will be like, hey, remember Hatchet? And I'm like, oh my god, yes, but it's been 8 years. And my brain will just be like, I sure hope there aren't any moose in here. I'm like, oh my god, why am I not over this? And it's not even like that scene like made a huge impact on me at the time. I just think about it constantly. So the only thing that I fear more than the Hatchet moose are bears. And I mean, they're like large, hairy, and unpredictable, just like, I don't know, bears, because there's nothing as scary as them to compare them to. And so my mom decided, like, one day we were gonna, like, go to North Carolina and have this fun, like, mother-daughter bonding trip, like, go hiking up this mountain. And the rangers there are like, oh yeah, I mean, there are bears here, but we haven't seen one in, like, 300 years. And I'm just like, well, I don't believe you, old mountain man. And so my mom decides we're going to go on this big hike, like at 7 a.m. in the morning, and the night before, she's like reading this book about hikes, and she goes, Maddie, did you know bears can smell a raisin from 2 miles away? And I'm like, well, thank God we don't have any raisins, just all this fucking peanut butter. And so she's lying awake in fear that a bear is gonna like beat us up and steal our lunch. And I'm lying awake in fear that the Hatchet moose is gonna murder us. And anyway, we're climbing up the mountain the next morning, and I heard, like, someone told me that black bears are like shy. So I, no joke, am screaming the entire way up this mountain. I'm like singing like Christian hymns. I'm like if it gets too quiet, I'm just like, ah, like, Mr. Bear, I'm here. Please don't get frightened. Like, I won't hurt you if you don't hurt me, kind of thing. Like, and you know what I decided, because we saw no wildlife that entire hike, like not even a squirrel, let alone a moose. So I've decided that if Brian had just yelled for the like 7 months he was in the middle of the Canadian wilderness, maybe he wouldn't have gotten pummeled by the Hatchet moose. Anyway, that's my set, guys. Remember to eat your Tostitos.
Tostitos.